Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading beginning March 31st into the first week of April 5th. Please know that all time is fluid, so whenever you find yourself listening to this message is exactly when you need to hear it the most, Sagittarius. If your sun sign message doesn't resonate for you this week, go check out your other zodiac readings for your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus sign, Jupiter sign. I provide links below in the description box where you can actually generate those for free online, along with some information on the work I do at Indigo Ascension as an energy healer and reader. Okay, so let's check out a theme for you, Sagittarius. I'm just trying to think what your theme was last week. We've had a few people that have been continuing on their themes. Obviously, globally, we're all affected by current circumstances, okay, Sagittarius? It goes without saying many of us are finding ourselves in isolation and review mode, seeking higher guidance, perhaps. I have noticed that this week's readings has very much been centered on, once the dust settles, we all sort of find ourselves settled into an isolation routine, perhaps, and we're seeking some higher wisdom around our path, purpose, after we've established our priorities. For many last week, it was about focusing on what and who matters the most, and that's what these times are about. And this week, there's a big calling out there for many, like the zodiac readings have been quite spiritual. So your theme for the week touches on that. The Divas, okay. There's a lot to this card, all right? There's information in the description box below as well about all the different cards and tarot and oracle cards I use. These are from Anna Stark. Don't mind the toy noises in the background. I'm working from home too. Divas, okay. This is a call to connect into the other realms, okay? So whatever that means for you, Sagittarius, it's very much like a lot of zodiacs. They're seeking some higher wisdom, higher connection, higher inspiration. They're connecting into all forms of whatever that means for each of us, okay? All labels and dogma aside, stigma aside, I should say, when you go in, it's ultimately about connecting into the parts of ourselves that we suppress, we do not address, we don't focus on, we don't give attention to, when we are so caught up in the everyday mainstream responsibilities of life, we are in survival and reactionary mode most of our time. So when it comes to things like soul, when it comes to things like spirit and what nurtures us spiritually, in my energy healing work, I talk about us having 5 levels and layers of being. We are more than just a physical. We are more than our emotions. We are more than just our thoughts. And they are 3 primarily the main focus of what a lot of us choose to give our attention to in this everyday reality, okay? But outside of that, we are also an energy body. We are also a soul body, okay? For many this week, they're connecting into those other levels of themselves, and for sensitives and empaths, they're quite familiar with their intuitive body, their energy body, this unseen forces that we ultimately sense and we believe in and know. That's what this invitation is, Sagittarius. This is about connecting into the divas out there that are ultimately part of the higher unseen forces that are guiding us, trying to reach out to us, wanting to connect to us. It's also a call to work with crystals. Okay, so maybe that is something that you do. And at this time, many of us are needing emotional and thought balancing, energy balancing, working with crystal therapy, whether it's actually in the form of crystals, whether we're doing essences, okay? So working with crystals at this time is a highly beneficial thing for you, perhaps. This is also, if you have a look at the focus of the colours, Sagittarius, there's a big focus on a mixture of speaking what you see, okay? Now, throat chakra, third eye chakra, there's a lot of clearing for you. And, when that happens energetically, we're clearing sinus on the physical. So when we know that we're going through, now I'm not a medical practitioner, so by all means my work holistically is very much also backed by a respect for modern day medicine and science, okay? So go and seek professional guidance at all times. I will never put medical advice on my page. However, there are principles around holistic therapies, especially when it comes to energy work and upgrades and what happens on the physical layer, what happens on the emotional layer, what happens to the thought layer. is measurable when it comes to the deeper soul healing work that I do. So I speak to clients about this all the time within classes. I'm so sorry about the toy noises in the background. Hopefully it's not drowning out this reading. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because these weekly readings have been a mission to get done through the week while I work from home with my little one. So Sagittarius, you might be going through third eye and throat chakra upgrades. What does that mean? You might notice your throat. You might notice your sinuses. You might notice some headaches, okay? But like I said, address your physical stuff in the best way that is right for you, okay? Do not take this as health advice, but I just wanted to make that known. But working with crystals at this time, primarily for the most of the Saggies I'm connecting into, crystal beings, multi-dimensional beings, you might be noticing stuff happen in dream state, lights and flashes out of the corner of your eye, connecting into nature, and the mineral kingdom at this time is relevant. Okay, let's see what the tarot wants to say, Sagittarius. The Divas. There might even be Sagittariuses out there that have noticed upgrades to their energetic being, their spiritual being. You might notice increase in psychic activity. I'm going to suggest using Lemurian quartz. I don't know why I even think that. I'm just looking at that. It's a clear quartz, perhaps. I keep hearing Lemurian quartz. If you have Lemurian quartz at home, Sagittarius, place that on your third eye. Limit it. Take it away, okay, and then put it back. If you notice any shifts and changes, if it gives you a little bit of a headache, feels like it's a bit too much, I think I'm picking up on some Sagittarius that will also work well with clear quartz this week. And anything that pertains to third eye and throat chakra, just give it a Google and have a look and see what crystals best support you in those chakras, okay? I do think that there's also, on the practical levels, when it comes to our everyday reality, there are things that you are seeing and noticing in your life that you perhaps, some deeper truths. Okay, so this doesn't really work in our family anymore. You're wanting to speak about what you're seeing and sensing. That doesn't have to be anything other than some practical stuff like, wow, I've finally had time and attention here at home being in isolation and that routine never really worked. Why don't we just do this, okay? Just thought I'd mention that for some. Okay. Might have to press pause. Here he comes, my little assistant. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, Ten of Swords. You are coming out of a massive chapter. Make no mistake. Ten of Swords shows up. The worst is truly behind you, is what I want to say. You feel like on some level life has stabbed you in the back. You are dealing with old pain at this stage, at this time. You are seeing things that you perhaps need to communicate. You are needing to communicate about things that you have seen in a new light, Sagittarius. The energy you are moving into, I want to say, is highly spiritually cleansing and beneficial. It moves, okay? It shifts and changes and it feels freeing. So if you are in this space right now, because I've got the Eight of Swords here as well. This is stress and anxiety. So what I do want to say, you need to cut away whatever it is, your thoughts. And I know it's easy as an outsider to be able to say, hey, stop doing that. You need to move steady and fast away from whatever it is that makes you feel like it's giving you stress and anxiety. That's the first frequency I'm picking up on as far as a collective message, okay? So whether that means limiting your time watching the news and instead spend time in nature, connecting and using crystals, connecting into something a bit higher than what you're currently experiencing that ultimately makes you feel like this. And I get it, okay? I'm not belittling the fact that many are experiencing challenging times right now, but I do want to ask the question, does it nourish you? How you are spending your time, what you are tied to, what you are doing. The swords rule the mental realms, our thought body, okay? Sometimes when we're... Okay, I'll come and help. Sorry, Sagittarius. Okay, so the first thing what I was focusing on was saying that what I'm immediately picking up on from this, what's going on around you currently, is a quick need or a desire from you or another to quickly get away from what feels stressful. You're wishing anything but here, okay? Maybe you're struggling with the pressures that you're sort of absorbing when it comes to the news. I feel like I need to tell you to stop watching the news, stop absorbing negative energy, stop absorbing fears, shift your focus from fears to something a bit higher. And I know it's easier said than done, and I don't say it lightly because you know what, we're all in the same boat. But this is about shifting to a higher perspective and connecting into a vision of the opportunities that perhaps this time is bringing you. It brings us all into the perfect review mode. Goodness, what's going on with my hair? It brings us into a perfect review mode about our life, our circumstances, our purpose. There's a message here for you, and I feel like I'm speaking to Sagittariuses that are actually awakening to something a lot bigger than what they are, how they saw themselves in their life. This review mode is giving you a chance to really see yourself and your past in a new way. You're releasing old stuff here. You are walking away from a chapter. This is old pain, old trauma. The times that you felt like life stabbed you in the back. And I want to say that the worst has passed, okay? You've surpassed something here. You're letting go of an old chapter. You're wanting to let something go very quickly. This is about communication. You might be connecting into an air sign, so Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, okay? There's some air elements here. You might have that in your natal placements, okay? But the Eight of Swords talks about fears that we can ultimately control, all right? It is a heavy energy because it takes us into the 9 and then it takes us into the 10. I wouldn't say that you're up late at night stressing, but you feel it. You're energetically feeling this strain on your mental realms, in your thoughts. You're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious. You are, the thoughts you're thinking are actually quite... rapidly taking you into fear, I should say. So that's what I was saying before about us. I want to ask the question, does it nourish you? Does it? And when we balance the 5 bodies, Sagittarius, if we're too predominantly thought focused, okay, it ultimately leaves us in a point of where we're neglecting our emotional body, our energy body, our physical body, our soul, okay? So bring them into balance. The last 8 years are significant here. What you have learned, okay, I want to say, what you integrated over the last year. There's clarity here. You're surrounded by clarity about fears, about a need to move away from fears. This is charging forward away into a healing. On some level, you know that you have to let go. You need to let go of the pain of the past, the last 10 years. And it wasn't until you've connected in, so this is in the past, it wasn't until you've connected into some form of emotional mastery, understanding your emotions from a higher view. Okay, you might be connecting into a water sign here when the King of Cups shows up. You might have that element in your chart, but because it's almost like you touched on your emotions and then now you're in your thoughts about it. You felt something, but now you're in your thoughts, okay? So I feel really called to tell you to connect, to go higher and to see things from a higher view, because there was some wisdom around your emotions, an emotional connection, and, your emotions regarding a connection. You might have a significant other in your life, whether that's your husband, your brother, your son, that is quite... balanced in their emotions, that's someone in your life that you can feel like you can talk to about your emotions, because I do see at present you're feeling stressed and overburdened by insecurities and fear perhaps, and wanting to get away from that space, wanting to let that go in some level. I want to say that this week, the next 7 days and the next 6 days brings clarity. Okay, when the Ace of Swords shows up with the Sun, it's like crystal clear, You're getting some crystal clear clarity around pain, betrayal, trauma, what actually needs to be let go of, that ultimately has always fueled your fears. And you're charging ahead with that. Okay, this is the balancing Sagittarius. This is spiritually nourishing, and in doing so, in taking this higher view and connecting into the other elements that nourish you, bringing back into balance all levels of your being, okay? Not just focusing so much on the thought realms, but the emotional realms, the physical realms, the energetic and the spiritual and soul. By bringing everything back into balance, you will then you'll see crystal clear. Some truths here, okay? The Eight of Wands shows up. It's the falling in love card. It's communications about love. Quick communications, quick progress. There's a lot of quick movement here outside of a stuck place, within a connection, within yourself, within your thoughts, and how your thoughts and fears ultimately might be keeping you stuck in relation to anything. Like this is, I feel you're closing a chapter here. You are closing a chapter and you are getting clear. And you're actually communicating. There's recognition for you, okay? The Six of Wands is traditionally the marriage card. It's seeing yourself and being seen for who you are, the role you play, seeing others' roles clearly, communicating that very in a no muck around kind of way. You know, the Queen of Swords shows up and she's not someone you mess with. She just knows who she is. She knows what she wants and she doesn't mince her words. So, and Sagis are sort of like that, you know, in many ways. You say things and then it's not until you're like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But that's not what this energy is about. This is actually air energy, okay? So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. But it's not emotional. Okay, and perhaps you're quickly seeing what needs to be communicated in regards to recognition of something or someone, or seeking recognition for yourself in some way, or recognizing your needs. You know, we do ultimately get to a point where we reach a point and go, okay, I'm feeling stress, I need something. There's this inner tension, inner conflict, okay? You're charging ahead though. The Chariot shows up, symbolized by Cancer. You know, you might have clear plans in relation to the season of Cancer, so connecting into July. This is fast moving energy. You're moving towards some genuine clarity about the communication of your needs, your plans, your goals, what you need in order to feel like you are coming home into yourself. I don't feel like you have felt seen, nor do you feel like you can see others clearly at this stage where you are, right? And you might even be coming out of this area, Sagittarius, because, you know, when life feels like this, you're not even looking, you're face down into the weight of pain, the weight of the betrayals of life. And this doesn't even have to point to any particular experience. It can just feel really, you feel stabbed in the back by life, by someone, by the last 10 years have probably felt heavy in some way. You're closing off a chapter of betrayal. And sometimes, Sagittarius, we betray ourselves, okay? We betray ourselves about how we're feeling inside, perhaps, when we're always go, 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 or not really communicating our fears even. But there's clarity for you this week in many ways, okay? It's the Ace of Swords and the Sun really gifts us with some crystal clear clarity. Watch what can be birthed over the next year in relation to that which sustains you, and to finally be seen, to finally see yourself, your path moving forward very clear. You're moving towards a path with great focus, okay? You drop the fears. You know, that could be anything. That could be a creative endeavor. That could be a new chapter in an existing relationship. It could be a new relationship. It's dropping the fears is essential here, and seeing them clearly for what they are in order for you to unlock that. Like I just keep hearing, you know, when it comes to horse racing, the sound of the gun, or the sound of you're charging forward into new plans, new goals, this entirely new 10-year chapter that is spiritually cleansing, in the sense that you have integrated a lot here. You've integrated a lot from the wisdom of pain, and ultimately what does and doesn't sustain you when you are on your own, and it is up to you when you are alone, when you are, you know, seeing yourself, seeing things clearly, seeing challenges clearly, seeing the dynamics clearly within connections. there's some upgrades here. There's some upgrades to sight and to how you see yourself and your path and your past. Okay, emotional clarity. Yeah, like I said, Ten of Swords underneath the deck it's about moving out of a chapter. The worst is truly behind you, and what you're moving into is assured stability. So if you feel unfocused, okay, if you feel ungrounded, and these two cards together that's a rush of anxiety. I feel like that's yes, the Knight of Swords is about moving away, but it's not grounded energy, okay? We're not grounded. We're not seeing things from a grounded perspective, and that's what you're ultimately rushing to. You want to feel grounded. You want to create stable plans for your future. You want to build up financial success. This is the only money card that I'm going to mention. This is more about a state of mind, about addressing challenges, Sagittarius. It's a state of mind, and ultimately what you need in order to come into right within yourself, in order to feel stable, to feel like that you can build firm foundations, of sustenance and substance, something tangible and long lasting. But you must let go of the past. If this is about career, let go of past career failures, let go of past dreams that didn't quite work out, the times that life felt like it stabbed you in the back, okay? Because what you're walking into, okay, and I'm pointing to July. I'm going to work with the Cancer card, the Chariot, what you're moving into, June, July, okay? Because the Six of Wands, June, July. Holy dooly, just wait. 6, 7, 8. You're working with manifestation energy and leveling up. There's 2 8s too. Abundance. Okay. There's an abundance of wisdom that is available to you, Sagittarius, right now. But ultimately, if you disconnect from your mental body and get out of your head, see things from a higher view, work with crystals, work with your higher self, whatever that means for you, working in dream state, analyzing your dreams, you're going to see your past pain clearly. I do feel at some level, that it's been influencing your decisions, your fears, the way you see yourself in your life, and you're sick of feeling like this when it comes to life. You want to move forward with clarity. But in order to do so and to think things clearly, we need to get out of our head. Okay? Because what you're walking into, what June, July means for you is powerful manifestation energy when it comes to future stability, long-term success when it comes to home and hearth, and the 4 walls and the 2 eyes and the 2 arms that you want to call home. What matters most to you. This is your 11-11. There's an awakening going on. And very much so for a lot of Sagittarius out there. This time is an awakening for you to that next level up of yourself. What happens is you come back into you. There's a lot of swords here. You've been in the air element, Saggy. You are fire. You are divine creative fire. That is the spark of life, the spark of energy that actually starts life. If you have been feeling lifeless, this changes at your calling and choosing, and you actually have very powerful supportive energy to push you through, drive you towards getting back home to yourself, seeing yourself, your path, your past pain, your future goals, letting go of the goals that perhaps don't resonate, seeing yourself, dynamics in a whole new way. You are coming home to yourself, Sagittarius. Wow. How powerful are the zodiac readings this week? 10 of Cups. Beautiful energy. There's a lot here, okay? I'm going to get interrupted again in this reading, so I'm going to leave it there. Boundaries. Putting down boundaries. The boundaries we need to put down for ourselves. Divas. Okay, Sagittarius. Have a great week.